Hello and welcome to Hidden Intelligence Inside a Modern Car, a masterclass series on automotive networking, day 5. I'm Dr. Priyalata. Modern vehicles are evolving rapidly. Today's intelligent vehicles must process camera streams, radar signals, battery management data, autonomous driving decisions, over-the-air updates. This creates one major engineering challenge. Can traditional automotive networks handle this enormous data demand? Classical CAN revolutionized automotive communication, but modern intelligent vehicles need higher bandwidth, faster communication, more deterministic timing, and better scalability. That is why automotive communication evolved beyond classical CAN. Today we will explore CAN-FD, LIN, FluxRay and understand why they were developed, their engineering advantages, their limitations and their role in modern vehicle architectures. Limitations of classical CAN. Classical CAN became extremely successful because of reliability, deterministic arbitration, low implementation cost. But as vehicle complexity increased, several limitations emerged. Limitation 1. Small payload size. Classical CAN supports maximum of 8-byte payload. This was sufficient for basic sensor data, engine parameters, simple control signals. But modern systems generate much larger data like ADAS sensor fusion, high resolution diagnostics, battery management systems. These require significantly more bandwidth. Limitation 2. Bandwidth constraints. Classical CAN typically operates up to 1 Mbps. For older vehicles, it is acceptable, but for modern intelligent vehicles, it is insufficient, especially vehicles like EV architectures, autonomous systems, and centralized vehicle computing. Limitation 3 is network congestion. As ECU count increased, bus load increased, arbitration delays increased, latency became problematic. The automotive industry required higher data rates, larger payloads, backward compatibility, and better efficiency. This led to CAN-FD. CAN-FD stands for Controller Area Network Flexible Data Rate. It was developed as an extension of classical CAN. The main objective was to improve the data throughput and the communication efficiency without completely replacing CAN architecture. The key improvements in CAN-FD are larger payloads up to 64 bytes. This dramatically improves data efficiency. Larger payload means more information per frame, fewer transmissions and reduced network congestion. So these were especially used for diagnostics, firmware updates and sensor communication. The second advantage is higher data rate. Classical CAN has 1 Mbps data rate, whereas CAN-FD has up to 8 Mbps. CAN-FD uses arbitration phase at lower speed and data phase at higher speed. Why? Because arbitration reliability remains critical. Data transmission benefits from higher bandwidth. Third is the backward compatibility. CAN FD networks can coexist with classical CAN nodes under proper architecture design. This allowed industry migration without complete redesign. However, there are few engineering challenges. Higher speed introduces signal integrity concerns, electromagnetic interference issues, stricter topology constraints. Thus, CAN-FD requires better transceivers, improved cable quality, and optimized physical layer design. CAN-FD are widely used in EV battery systems, advanced diagnostics, domain controllers, software updates, and sensor-rich architectures. Next is the LIN protocol. LIN stands for Local Interconnect Network. Using CAN everywhere is expensive. Many automotive systems do not require high speed, complex arbitration, or higher bandwidth. Examples like window control, mirror adjustment, seat positioning, and sunroof operation. LIN uses master-slave architecture, unlike CAN, which is a multi-master communication. One LIN master controls the communication timing. The slave nodes responds only when requested. This simplifies network control, cost, and hardware complexity. The parameters of LIN are speed up to 20 kbps. It's a master-slave communication, and the low-cost communication simple, and it's a single wire communication. However, the drawback or it has a low bandwidth, no deterministic arbitration, and limited scalability. Thus, LIN is used only for non-critical body electronics. Modern vehicles use CAN for critical systems and LIN for low-cost body control. This creates hierarchical automotive networking. Next is the FluxRay. As automotive systems evolve towards drive-by-wire, brake-by-wire, and autonomous functions, this industry needed extremely deterministic communication. This led to FluxRay. FluxRay provides a speed up to 10 Mbps and it's a time-triggered communication. It has a high fault tolerance and an excellent determinism. CAN is an event-triggered communication and FluxRay is time-triggered. Why time-triggered communication matters? In safety-critical systems, communication timing must be predictable. For example, steer-by-wire systems cannot tolerate uncertain delays. FluxRay schedules communication in predefined time slots. Thus, latency becomes predictable, synchronization improves, and safety increases. Why FluxRay did not dominate completely? Despite technical advantages, implementation cost is high. Complexity increased significantly and Ethernet emerged rapidly. As a result, FluxRay adoption becomes limited compared to CAN and Ethernet. Next comes the comparative analysis of different communication protocols. For body systems, we use LEN. For control systems, we use CAN. For advanced systems, we use CAN-FD. And for safety critical application, we use FlexRay. So if the speed is your concern, you have to go for FlexRay. If cost is your concern, you have to go for LEN and CAN. If determinism is the concern, you have to go for FlexRay and CAN. If payload is a concern, you have to go for CAN-FD or FlexRay. If complexity is a concern, you have to go for LEN and CAN. Engineering design philosophy. No single protocol satisfied all these requirements. Thus, modern vehicles use multi-network architectures. Like we use LEN for door modules, CAN for powertrain, CAN-FD for diagnostics, and Ethernet for ADAS. This layered architecture optimizes cost and performance, as well as reliability and scalability. As vehicles move towards centralized computing, AI processing, autonomous systems, data demand continues increasing dramatically. This is driving migration towards automotive Ethernet, which we will study deeply in upcoming sessions. The key takeaways from today's session are limitations of classical CAN, CAN-FD architecture and advantages, LIN, low-cost communication, FlexRay, deterministic networking, and comparison of automotive protocol analysis and evolution towards higher bandwidth architectures. Automotive networking is evolving from simple distributed communication to high-performance intelligent data architectures. As future automotive engineers, understanding why each protocol exists is more important than simply memorizing specifications, because engineering is all about selecting the right architecture for the right problem. Stay connected for more videos on hidden intelligence inside a modern car.